Alright, Sagittarius, we're going to have some fun with this reading for April. Last couple of readings I did were for like a smaller collective, and it was kind of got like, I don't know, trauma surgery. So we're going to just keep it really light. I'm setting an intention. I'm setting the intention that we're going to keep it light. We're going to have some fun. We're going to look at your April, and to the extent that stuff comes up that I need to mention, I'll mention it, but we're going to do the who, what, where, and when of April, and again, keeping it super simple and freestyling to the extent that I feel called to. Let me check here to see that everything's in the frame. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to start with some angel numbers here, and then we're going to pull a theme card. So let's see, is this in the frame? Yeah. So you have 2, 2 again. All right, so 2, 2, 2, somebody, that's a good, so look it up while I am shuffling for the theme cards. So Sagittarius, 2, 2, 2. It's gonna be 2, 2, 2. And I'm hoping to get in the frame, and I think I'm gonna just scoot up. I'm gonna scoot up a little bit. So let's get some theme cards. Look up 2, 2, 2, if you don't have a sense of what it is. Triple 2s. So Spirit, what are we looking at for themes? Sagittarius in the month of April. Themes for Sagittarius in the month of April. All right, so bottom of the deck, you have never-ending story. I'm gonna feel this. So I'm messing with the format a little bit, and also the way I do things. I read generally, but then I also read intuitively with my hands. So let's see what's going on here. All right, I want to feel the bottom of the deck energy first. So this is confusion, like a tough decision, but it's not the first time that this decision has come up. And like it's like ruminating. There's a sense in which there's a lot of ruminating. But there is a decision to be made this month, and Spirit would have you understand that this is destiny and fated, and so be flexible about how this all comes together. So let me just feel this another sec, because I'm just wanna, maybe we can get a couple details for some of you. I'm wanting to keep it pretty general though, but let's see. I'm drawn to the numbers 13, 19, 17. That might mean something to you. So this is a destined fated thing. It feels like it. Yeah, it's gonna feel pretty easy. But you're gonna have to make a decision, and that decision is going to require like some flexibility on your part. The funny thing is, it's like, this isn't like strain. I'm not feeling any strain in whatever this ends up being. I think it's because, when it's destined, it just kind of feels too good. And so there's a little, I think I'm like, this is feeling like mental gymnastics, but never mind that my cat is making a lot of noise over there. All right, so this is mental flexibility. This is more in the mind than it is. This is like the feels, this is the mind, and this is the decision, and it's like you're gonna have to do like a hard overhead, but it's gonna be easy too, because those are hard overhead generally is a lot easier than people realize. Very few people, in my experience, can actually steer with the head in any like meaningful way. So, heart over mind decision. Definitely a decision in April. So let's see more about what that is. So what's the what? And we're gonna start with what, and the who, what, where. What in April is the decision that Sagittarius is looking at? general reading. Take what resonates, leave what does not resonate. If something resonates and it's intense, always check for confirmation. I usually check my own deck when something like that happens, or just ask your guides for signs. Signs, synchronicities, symbols. I usually like to get a message like 3 times from 3 different sources if it's a big choice that I have to make. So this is a decision for you. So what is this decision that Sag is going to have to make? Ooh, there we go. In the month of April, you're going to have to stop being so defensive. It's got on the bottom of the deck. All right, let me just feel this. So this felt like defensive, but it's not. It's like so the Sagittarius, what is this? This is yeah, I'm trying to describe something that feels like something feels like a political problem, in the sense that it's like a, what is that? It's like just spirit. A refrain into a like defeated sort of posturing. All right, so to whoever that's speaking to, yeah, that's getting rid of that. Getting rid of that for April, because you're in a really, really amazing, beautiful space. The what of this decision is so you're definitely looking. You've got your eyes on this connection here. 4 of Wands, like generally like a wedding card, twin flame card with the 1111, but this one, kindred spirit. This one's kindred spirit, I think. Yeah. So Sagittarius, you have your eyes on this kindred spirit connection, and this is actually a decision about whether or not it's wise and makes any emotional sense to speak up about it. I mean, there's a impulse. There's that like fiery impulse. But it might not be wise. So let's look into this. So, who is this like kindred spirit? Let's ask about that. Spirit, who's this kindred spirit that Sag is focused on? Who's this kindred spirit that Sag is focused on? Okay. What is this? I'm seeing, looking up from the bottom, you can see everything. That came in like a really early reading for like TikTok a million years ago, but it was, yeah, the privileged are blind. You can see everything looking up. From the bottom, you can see everything looking up. So that's what's coming through with this 5 of coins. And I think that means someone who has just a perspective. Yeah, the kindred spirit. So kindred spirit, this is just someone who has a unique perspective, not that unlike your own. And certainly, from what I can tell, it's like this is somebody who has like a really unique perspective. Like, yeah, so this is someone who, like, so the reason that this person is like catching your attention in this way is their perspective is super unique, and they've come through a lot, and as a result they have a lot of wisdom based on seeing bridges, so they're able to bridge a lot of worlds. And but this person has no, okay, Sagittarius, here's the thing though, this person doesn't feel you, right? In the way that you feel them. That's not a bad thing. It's just a, well, we'll find out. We'll pull more cards, but with the Page of Wands upside down, I'm feeling like there's a very strong like spiritual connection, but it's one-sided sort of. So Spirit came through with this message once before for someone in particular, but it was more like trying to explain something to somebody who's learning, but this is what I'm feeling here. So I'm just going to repeat it because it's coming through. When you're super psychic, yeah, Spirit's like, just do it. So when you're super psychic, it's not hard to sort of feel someone else's energy or be in, like, it's not hard to like focus and find that energy, but and you can spend time like with that energy, and and whenever you're interacting with someone's energy, there's like a level of intimacy, so you can form a relationship with someone's energy, but here's the thing, it wouldn't be free will if that like had any influence whatsoever. It's spending time with somebody else's energy doesn't influence them, and they're not necessarily going to be aware of your relationship to the energy. Sometimes if they're super psychic they will, but like just generally speaking, unless they want, yeah, Spirit's giving me very interesting advice. You know, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I live in like a anything goes kind of like spiritual interpretation world, and yeah, for whatever this is what it's feeling like. Yeah, so this person, it's not that this person, it's like not like a like or dislike, they're just not aware of the level of, you're spending like time with this energy, and this energy isn't aware of this. So not in the like spiritual connection kind of a way that you're picking up on. It's very complicated. I hope that made like a little tiny bit of sense to someone, but let's keep going. See what all right, let's learn more about this person, because all right, so you're making this decision. It's like, you know, from a space of emotional intelligence, but again, this person is not aware of this these feelings. This like kindred spirit feelings, this like destined sort of a feeling, this the attraction is related to this like hearing depth of field. So I'm curious. Let's look at this a little bit more. So blue butterflies is meaningful for someone. Blue butterfly, I mean, it's on the deck, but I had to mention that. I was told to mention that. So, all right, so this is, we're still in the category of who. So let's look at, so this is, for whoever this is resonating, again, general read. There's an interest, there's a kindred spirit, there's a desire to sort of like deliver this message, or just show up. But think about it. You need to be a little bit, you know that there's a need for emotional intelligence in this situation. And so like the energetic stuff that came up for somebody, yeah, be aware that interaction doesn't mean influence, and it certainly doesn't mean that there's a reciprocity, because it doesn't really, like, it could work. I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't really work that way. Not really. Well, I could give a lecture on this, so I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but just be aware that the like what you're manifesting is often even not exactly that energy anyway. It's just kind of close to it, like it vibrates at that certain frequency. They have no idea that the degree of this interest whatsoever. I mean, they might have an awareness of you generally. There's not like any kind of bad feelings or anything like that. It's just like for some of you, this person doesn't know who you are. I'm not trying to be difficult or bring some difficult news. For others of you, this is a person who has absolutely no idea. They have no idea that like, it's almost like Spirit's like, you know, this is a world in your head, in your field of experience. Energy's funny. It's not always so clear. So yeah, this person's not on the same page. They're kind of like a world away in their mind. And again, that's not like a rejection thing. That's just, this is just the message that's coming through for whoever's getting this message. They just don't have any idea. That's all. I'm just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going. What is about this person? They have no idea. Yeah, so it's so interesting because the theme that came up is this is a fork in the road. You got to make a decision, head over heart. Actually, because of that distinction, and usually heart wins. But I think there's a sense in which you want to be measured and sit with the head a little bit. This feels safe. Since this feels safe, this Queen of Swords energy feels very safe. It feels protected. It feels like I'm getting like a good feeling off of it. So I would say that because this person really has no idea that you have this level of like explosive sort of. Explosive's not the right verb, is that? Yeah, this person has no idea. You know, this is a level of operating in the shadows, and maybe you want to make it clear, maybe you don't. But that's what we're looking at in terms of a decision. For some of you, you do not know this person. You'd like to. And you think you know them. Here's the thing. So this is a lot of interest on someone's part, and it's like tremendous. It really is. And there's a sense that the interest is because there's this idea about who this person is, and this person's not you have to meet this person or actually have like the kind of relationship where you get to know each other, because there's there are a lot more than I think you realize in terms of. This is I'm seeing like gems, like the fractal. No, what is that? So when you stick prisms, I'm seeing like prisms. Okay, so this person is like these prisms. I'm seeing this person's like a prism. So what you think you're experiencing in the way of their like vibe or their energy is a facet. So taking like an approach that is, you don't want to run up on this person and be like, we're soulmates, you know, whatever, soulmates or whatever that might be, like that, whatever that connection that you're feeling. You don't want to run up on this person with that. That would not be wisdom for whoever this is resonating for. Reading's feeling kind of specific, but I'm feeling a lot of energies here, so there are a lot of people resonating with this, and that my intention is that it'll reach the people who need to hear it. So there are a bunch of you in this situation. Yeah. So yeah, this person's like a prism, and you're only seeing one facet, and that's the facet that you feel so drawn to, and the energy that you're spending time with. If you're able to get a lock on it, and some people are just able to do that. Again, that doesn't usually have an influential effect, because if it did, again, it wouldn't. There's a lecture that's like a 40-hour thing to talk about, but not easy to explain. But yeah, just because you're very much like in the feels and able to sort of pick up on this energy and interact with it. Again, I don't know if you're picking, like for some of you, you're picking up on something else that is what you want, that isn't with them, but you're picking up on that energy. And then there's some of you that are just with this energy, but it is not aware, this other energy is not aware of this. There's no influence from that time, for those times, or from that There's just no influence there. All right, so how should Sagittarius approach this? Again, like with that, you're manifesting it, right? But take a measured approach. Don't run up with with too much enthusiasm. Not that there's it's just because this person doesn't know. They really don't understand. And you're only seeing a facet. So you probably want to like get to know them better. No. So how should Sagittarius proceed with this situation in April? How should Sagittarius proceed? Okay. Huh. All right, cool. Get the moon in reverse. So it's good. You're going to proceed with curiosity and a knowledge that you really don't know what's up. Let this be a mystery. Like allow this to understand that since you're only seeing a facet and you're interacting with this energy from only a one-sided perspective for many of you, you want to approach this with curiosity and a knowledge that you really don't know. That you want to get to know someone from a place of I don't know, and not I think I know. And so that's how Spirit would have you approach it. And actually, you should just work with them. Here, let me move these out of the way. I have to move my feet out of the way. I have to get a better setup where my. All right, so I think I'm in frame. All right, so you're not going to want to come at this with any certainty. It's best because this is a person who would be really good to work with, and you should approach this with what's coming through is like a level of humility, not in like a humiliated kind of way, just like. God, what would that word? Like, I'm feeling something. I don't have a great word for it. Humility is close, but not really. Like, don't open the door and like scream. Like, just walk in the room like very. Be in a space that says this is a process that needs to be built. This needs to be built up. I only understand a little bit. What I understand, I like, but knowing that you don't understand as much as you think you do. This is a very good person to work with. There's some cool projects. So I actually come at this from a creative point of view. And this is not like a situation where you're like taking charge. Be curious. Definitely be curious. Approach with a lot of curiosity. And an awareness that this is like a learning about this person. You're gonna be learning about them. So we did let's look at the circumstances in which like this kind of comes together. Again, this is a good working thing. This is a good person to probably think of a project. Learn about them through their interests is what I'm hearing. So what? Let's look at like what does it look like? I don't know where we are with who, what, where, and when. That's kind of I was doing like a loose structure. We did who, and we did what. Where, let's find out where you have this opportunity to have enough of an encounter that you need to make a decision as a result of it. So let's look at the circumstance in which this sort of becomes an encounter. How does this become an encounter? For those of you that are resonating, again, some stuff will, some stuff won't. What is this? How does this actually become an encounter for Sagittarius in the month of April? Let's see. Or let's see, how does this become an encounter for Sagittarius going forward? I don't know if this is gonna, I think this might just be something that I'm hearing comes online in April. So let's take a look at, doesn't have to be in April, but the encounter. Oof. What's this all about? This is a weird encounter. All right, no. When I say weird, that just means to me that I'm not totally sure what I'm looking at. Oof. All right, so I gotta feel this stuff. With all the stuff in reverse, I think it's gonna be this is gonna be hard to come forward with. Queen of Swords in reverse, 2 of Cups in reverse, 7 of Cups in reverse, 3 of Cups in reverse. Might be a third party kind of a thing. It's gonna take some, hold on, let me just I'm trying to get a fix on this energy because it's a little bit convoluted. All right, I'm just gonna pull the different strands of things that come through because this is a collective, so it's gonna be convoluted, but let me just see what. This encounter is actually, you're just gonna have this in your mind for a really long time. This is such an interesting observation kind of energy, like conclusions that you're coming to. Let me get some advice on this. Because this isn't telling me when there's an encounter. It's actually saying there's a lot in the, for many of you, there's a lot in the way. And for a lot of you, this is playing out in this continues to kind of play out in your head without a desire to actually make it real because it feels good. So I'm hearing 5D, I'm hearing, it feels good as like an ethereal escape. Yeah. And so some of you, and I'll pull more cards for those that are not resonating in this, some of you want to keep it as just an ethereal escape. You don't really even want to bring it into a place of existing. You don't even want to have to make this decision. This is going to be for some of you. I'm going to pull more cards for others of you, but right. All right. So there's not much more coming from this other than for some of you, you want to keep it in your head. You don't actually want this encounter at this point anyway. And you don't even want to have to make this decision. Like almost like during the course of this reading, someone's going, I'm just gonna keep it in my head. So maybe there's a distance. Yeah. All right, let's pull on for the others of you that aren't wanting to just keep this in your head. Spirit, what about like an encounter that becomes an encounter for those of this collective that are having an encounter in April or just beyond April? Spirit says April for this group. Sorry if this is making like a huge noise. I noticed that the last time I was reading together that the smack of the cards against the table is super loud. Nice. Got 2 of Swords on the bottom again. So again, this is a decision. April is a decision month. For some of you, you're deciding to leave this thing alone and let it just be in your brain. And for some of you, this becomes a little bit of a wake-up call. So for some of you, this goes from like obsession to an encounter that's mainly physical. There's not really a lot of conversation about it, but it does kick off a dual recognition. And there's not a lot of talking back and forth, but there's a rude awakening. So actually, for like those of you that like resonate with the twin flame kind of theories, this would be akin to, and at least it feels like akin to like that moment of recognition where, so some of you, this encounter like is just physical, or, you know, starts with this one-sided obsession. When the moment of like encounter comes, there is a recognition. There's that like, oh shit. But it doesn't look like this is something that there's a lot of there's no conversation really about this, because it causes kind of a rude awakening in both parties. So for some of you, this encounter is one of those old soulmate from the beginning of time recognition moments where, let me just look at this for a second. Whatever it is, it shakes you up, and it shakes them up enough to keep it, it's like unexpected for them, for sure. Unexpected for you, for sure. It wasn't really what you thought. But whatever it was, it's powerful enough to be jarring and awakening. All right, what does that mean in terms of this decision? What does it mean in terms of this decision? What do we got? What's the decision? Spirit, what's the decision? Let's get clearer. Let's get clearer. Wow. All right, that says a lot. I will move this into the frame in a second. All right, this is a decision. You're aware of this thing. And Spirit's almost like, that's kind of like that should be enough for right now, because this isn't time for it. Spirit's talking, this is about divine timing. You need to heal. They need to heal. It's not time yet. Welcome the awareness. Spirit's like, you know, be cool and happy with the awareness. It's fine to like be in this like, what is that? Crush or more than curiosity, but less than obsession, more than curiosity. That's sort of like on the scale between obsession and curiosity. Like, this is fine. This is really exciting for you, and this, whoever this is, hasn't felt this way in a really long time. So this is really exciting. So Spirit's like, be cool with that. This is just like the beginning rumbles. There's healing, and it's not time yet. To the extent that you're seeing yourself in a broader perspective, one that's more spacious and allows you like this movement and thinking about what it would mean to plan a forward. So this is like a shift of focus where Spirit's like, your decision is, either to be impulsive and do something or not. And it seems like that in April, for whoever I'm reading for, there's a not. Like in two pulls, we kind of got the same, like, this is at a standstill, let it be at a standstill. It's not time. You're like, but what is it time for? It's time to think about moving out of the trap space that you find yourself in, and what it would mean and what it would look like. And like the manifestation party, I don't know, Spirit says the manifestation party starts with this knowledge, and the planning of it is just have fun. Yeah. So Spirit's like, just have fun with the awareness, and begin to manifesting this broadening, this path creating, like, is enough right now. It's part of a healing process. And there's, at least in the month of April, Spirit saying like the awareness is sufficient. The awareness is sufficient. So the theme of decision making actually kind of looks like what Spirit wants to get through, at least to whoever's resonating with this, is advice on that. And the advice is, let this be cool, like where it is. Because it's a discovery. Made a discovery. And now before you got some healing to do before it becomes more than a discovery. There's a lot that you're carrying that you're really gonna have to put down, like a lot. So I'm trying to be fun and it's got heavy. What else are we gonna do here? Let's do, I'm gonna do one more pull in terms of likely outcome with whoever's resonating with this connection situation. The Sagittariuses that are having this, that are resonating with this, let's look at like outcome, like likely outcome, likely trajectory right now, at least as it stands, is good. All right, like, I like that. Okay, let me just, oh, there's another card there. We've got the Justice card in reverse. Very sticky. Just take a second. There's a lot of people. I'm feeling a lot of energy here. A lot of different energy here. For some of you, this is breaking a contract. Ouch, yeah. And for some of you, to be fair, you know, to yourself and this other person, you have to be you have to recognize that being in a more healed space emotionally is a necessity. Because this person sort of like lives in this like Nine of Cups sort of a space. They're just really cool with their own energy and they're very independent. I like this. This is I like would get along with this person, I think. I would get along with this person. This is a great energy. This is somebody who's like super independent, like very smart, like very resourceful, attractive in a way that is unique. And you in the space of healing, I mean, this is actually a really beautiful dynamic. Like wish fulfillment. But, you know, heal your heart. You know, you've got some stuff to, you don't want to bring an emotional mess. This is so cool. I like this so much. I'm thinking that, you know, you don't want to bring an emotional mess that hasn't been, Spirit's like, do the work first. And all, you know, this is going to be different for everybody, so just do the work first. There's a sense in which, I'm gonna try and get a lock on what this is. It'll probably be for only a few, but I'm seeing a minefield. Yeah, so it's like you're gonna wanna map your minefield. So you have a sense of, this is such a weird message coming through. Just give me 1 second. Seeing someone run across a minefield, but they know where the mines are. But the first, okay, so the first person has to run across the minefield and they don't know where the mines are. But once they make that run, the footsteps show when they get to the other side, the safe way to run across the minefield. Spirit's saying you're gonna wanna like find out the safe way to run across the minefield. For somebody, this makes sense. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but for someone, you're gonna have to figure out how to run across that minefield in order to even begin to think about, it's like you have to make that path. So, yeah. And I keep on bumping into this, I don't know if it's shaking. Yeah, this is something that it's a fixed thing, so it's fine. It's very cool, dynamic. There's like wish fulfillment. This is a great energy. I like it. Spirit's like, just be cool. just this is great. So the decision, Spirit's giving you advice on the decision. It's like very specific, and it's like to decide to be cautious, to decide to be measured, and to really, I don't know what this means, this whole, I don't have much more than that image. But for a lot of you, it's just like do the shadow work, you know, so that this thing this thing will come together when you're both in these spaces. This is healed. This is like really beautiful independence and security. So this is fixed. It feels really fixed. So this is the likely outcome. But to get to the likely outcome or you know, ingredient that's needed is to do some shadow work. And for someone, there's this whole minefield situation. All right, let's get some advice for Spirit before we close out. That's a lot. And I don't know how lighthearted and fluffy it was, but it was pretty specific for a group of you. And for others, probably didn't resonate at all, but that's all right. All right, so I'm looking for, I'm gonna ask Spirit for like for a bunch of sentences as a closeout message of advice before we. Okay. All right. Truth transcends illusion. So just this is what Spirit is showing me. But I'm brought back to the image of the prism, the prism. Yeah, it's like a jewel. The facets. So Spirit is like, truth is way better than whatever goes on in your head about like, you know, an ecosystem. Another person is like a whole ecosystem. So you know, the truth of what this is and who this is will become like abundantly clear. It's not something that you have to puzzle out necessarily. It is there's a sense in which like divine timing is key, and your knowledge of this, like I'm seeing like it's like something like percolating. So I'm just gonna read this. Know your own worth, be playful, and be loyal to what you love. That's super important. I'll feel it in a second, but again, I'm like drawn to numbers here. 54, 51, 19, 24, and 33. So Spirit's like, Spirit's closing advice is know your worth, be playful, be loyal to what you love, bring your ideas to life, and freedom is yours. And let's feel this. Spirit's like there's a process. This is like a manifestation process sort of a thing. And so, you know, part of the healing is about self-worth, of which Spirit is like, there's a lot of work here that needs to be done with this. Like tremendous. It's not a lack of love, like it's like Spirit is actually saying something interesting. Not a lack of self-love, kind of a lack of self-worth though. Got a message coming through. Let's just get it. Okay, this is weird. So this is a specific for somebody. It's related to, so there's a sickness, right? So this is a message from Spirit to someone very particular. There is, you don't cause the virus, you caught the virus. Those that are affected by the virus, you didn't cause that virus, they caught that virus. So I don't know if that's a COVID thing for somebody very specific or what. I'm not seeing COVID, but I think it's actually that's a metaphor. It is. So I don't know what that means, but it's somebody does. So anyway, know your worth. Self-worth is a thing. Remember how to play. And there's a process here where you value what you do have and what is close to you. You know, as you move into this space, this just feels like manifesting to me. Bring your ideas to life. As you move into this, is this an eel? So eels are really interesting. Eels, nobody knows how they reproduce. And my understanding is that they have these incredible, I have to look this up, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but they have like these incredible life cycles where they're unrecognizable from like change to change. And if I'm right, and I might not be, well, this is like coming through as a message from spirit, so it might be complete metaphor, but that they go and mate in the Bermuda Triangle, and nobody knows what that means, or no one's seen a baby eel ever. Like, no one has seen a baby. So I don't know how, anyway, but they go into the Bermuda Triangle as like saltwater eels, and they leave it as like freshwater eels. Somebody, that means something. So yeah, this is like a transformation kind of a thing, but this is like manifestation of transformation. That's really cool. And I don't know, let's just see how this relates. Well, this is like you want to bring change in. But as you bring change in, Spirit's like, you really be good about it. Be good about it. And, you know, this is a very freeing change. Very, very freeing change. And I'm drawn to just do one last thing, and then this is getting long, so I'll stop. Oh my gosh. I'm going to do a little bit more angel numbers. We got 2 again. We've got 5. And we've got 5. Look up 255. All right, these are your messages from Spirit. This is your April Sagittarius, and I hope that was fun. That was super informative, and I will see you next month.